everyone, I'm Amber. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to review something that I have been meaning to review for a while. I've been on and off of vacations. I'm currently on one of them, and you would think I would maybe make more videos during vacation. That was the plan, because I've been busy when I'm not on vacation. That has not been the case. But we're doing what we can, and I'm going to get more on top of it. That's it. But I do got some videos lined up. Today we're going to be reviewing Descendants, The Rise of Red. I love Descendants. I love the movies. I love the characters. I think Sophia Carson is a beautiful singer. Why do I do this? Is it like this or is it like... Either way. And I was a little hesitant when they said they were going to kind of do a new movie. I knew they were going to do it. Like, there's so many more characters to explore. That being said, after Cameron's passing, I don't think it was wise or right for them to make another movie. But then I saw the trailers and I saw the potential this movie had, and I was like, okay, maybe this will kind of be a full circle moment. It will be a really good movie. But then I also saw, once the movie came out, how a lot of the actors were feeling, especially towards China McClain. Is it still China Ann McClain, or is it China McClain? China. And I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not too much into that drama. I mainly just learned about it from TikTok. And because I was, being spoiled kind of before I saw the movie of certain songs and everything. Luckily, I wasn't spoiled too much. I watched the movie, I think, the day after it came out. There was stuff about drama happening. That being said, none of the original characters are in this besides China McClain, and the lady who acts Fairy Godmother. Who else? I think that's it, honestly. So Uma's back, Fairy Godmother's back, apparently Mal, Ben, Evie, and what was the other guy's name? Jay. Sorry. I keep thinking his name is Boo Boo Stewart because he's Boo Boo Stewart from Twilight. It's very interesting now seeing him in different projects. After originally seeing him in Twilight, I've been kind of like looking back and being like, it's so interesting, the like difference, and the fact that like he's so much more well recognized through Disney than where he started off. But that's a side note. So they're apparently going on a journey to unite the other kingdoms outside of Auradon that I think they said they just want to unite the kingdoms. I don't remember the specifics. I think it's either after the villains have the VKs have come to Auradon, and they're like closed off, or I think they said that because Auradon kind of confined themselves, and so they're now like kind of branching out, because Auradon kind of became this solo isolated island thing, and they had the bridge only to get to the Isle, but apparently there's other kingdoms and stuff, and so I'd be interested to see what fairy tale characters are over there, but I don't think we're really going to know. I think it was just kind of a backstory to tell us where Mal and Ben are. They're married. I didn't know how much the little movie cartoon thing was I mean, I kind of figured it was, but it just kind of seemed sad to do it like that after they did these like live action movies. And then they had like a little TV series too. So it was just all over the place. And there's a lot of like they had original characters from the TV series that were sons and daughters of who knows who, and then in the movies it was different. So I wasn't sure how, again, canon that was. But apparently it was. Yeah, they're married. Congrats. And Mal put Uma in charge of the school. And the fairy godmother, I don't know where she went. She's no longer there. She's retiring, I guess. I'm not sure. She's not longer there. Mal put Uma in charge. I assume all the rest of the other students are graduated, living their lives. I'm not sure who ended up with whom, other than Mal and Ben. And Uma is like, we're gonna shake things up a little bit more. There's like other kingdoms besides Oridon, obviously, but there's also Wonderland that's currently boarded up because the Queen of Hearts is evil and did not want to like go with the rules of Oridon. And I don't know if she was going to be sent to the Isle or not, or asked to like join, or be like, hey, you know, you want to be part of our kingdom, which doesn't make sense because again, they isolated the villains. And she is a villain. But I guess because she was once good, they did that. I would have liked to have seen other villains that were once good and kind of how they turned. It was just kind of like they were villains. But we'll get back to that. Wonderland. Yeah, Wonderland. I was going to say Neverland. Is boarded up. And in there is Princess Red. Don't know who the father is. We're left to speculate like we are about every other kid's parent. They're assumingly like fairy tale characters. Like they have to be. So it's like, but they're like, hi, I'm Mao, daughter of Maleficent. And they have like the quirky name that like kind of like branches off from the villain name. But then it's also daughter of Hades. So there's no other kid of Hades, unless it's like another kid of Hades and Hades hooked up with someone else. But like there's no like, it's from two villains, you know? Or they just kind of did that plot line to, it was still a good movie. So we don't know who Red's papa is. And her mom, like, you know, she's the evil queen. Off with your heads. Red doesn't want that. Red is rebellious in her own way. Red doesn't want to be controlled, told what to do, have her outfits made fun of. Her mom is like, we will take over Wonderland. You will rule over Wonderland and everything. But her mom, once she gets the letter to be accepted to Oridon from Uma and Fairy Godmother, she like hatches the idea like, oh, I can now control and take over Oridon, in the kingdom of Oridon. And over in Oridon we have Cinderella, which is the Brandy, what was the last name? The Brandy Cinderella. And basically, yes, beautiful movie, but they are those characters. That version of Cinderella is also this version in this world. Hope that made sense. Which doesn't make sense really, because in Descendants, how they meet, how they get together, certain things about the fairy tale are contradictory to the actual way of how they meet in Descendants. So here, like, they got together at, like, the ball or, like, the dance, or what was it? It was a dance. And they knew each other as kids. Like, Cinderella is not supposed to meet Prince Charming, like, at that day. Like, unless she showed up with the glass slipper, but that contradicts, again, because he knew who she was. Like, we knew this was Ella. Like, it contradicts the movie, because that is, like, again, the fairy tale how they meet. And we're very aware that Descendants contradicts those fairy tales, but it kind of does, like, a little spin on them. But if we're going to say these are the same people, same version, same universe, it's a little hard to believe. And And then the blue hair, like, they're only doing it because, like, the Descendants bright colors. I saw somebody point out on TikTok that only the villains and stuff were supposed to have the colored hair, like in Descendants, like, or they did have the colored hair. Like, why is Cinderella's daughter, like, it would have made sense for her just, sorry, I have something in my eye, not to have blue hair. And then Charming had like a little streak of blue hair, and I was just like, we're trying a little too hard here. They did mention Chad. So Chad, yes. I don't know how that happened. It's all over TikTok. I don't know. I don't want to say he's adopted. Maybe genetics, like, yeah, again, they pointed out the original movie, like, Charming's dad did not look like Charming. Charming's mom did not look like Charming. So genetics is all over the place over there. That's besides the point. They big happy family. So I don't understand why. What was Cinderella's daughter's name? You see, I'm already. I didn't like this movie. There was parts of it I liked. What was her name? Anyway, she had curly blue hair that changed and I saw this before I saw the TikToks on it. I was like, her hair looks longer. Her hair looks different. It's a different color. There's more curls in it. What is happening? And then I saw the TikToks and I'm like, I'm not the only one who noticed that. Like, literally different, like, I was just like, what is going on here? Not that, like, it wasn't pretty, but, like, the villains are the villain kids are supposed to have the colored hair. And then it was her and Red and Ella, and again they showed young Ella, and like young Ella did not have colored hair because we see the Brandy version, but anyway. And Bridget, I was gonna say Beatrice. They had colored hair, and everyone around them just had like natural colored hair. Like, I just didn't understand the VKs, which I don't know why they were called VKs in the past, because they were called VKs in the future. Okay. That was the whole thing. But alright. They all have colored hair, and I'm looking around me and I'm like, these look like regular kids. There's nothing fancy about their wardrobe. I'm like, what was the budget for this movie? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hate, but I'm like, in Descendants, they tried so hard. Like, they had like everyone like looking like they're from this world, and here I'm like, the girls in jeans and the t-shirt. And apparently Ella, like, is poor, so she is classified as like a non-rich kid in this school. There's like all these just like students that have like magical powers or abilities, or are from this fairy tale world. They're like princesses and just regular kids. And they eventually become these fairy tales. But they all ended up at the school, and it's called Merlin's Academy. Merlin is not a good teacher, professor, guardian of the school, dean, whatever you want to call him. He's not good. Headmaster, whatever. And so the fact that, like, and this is what movies do. They're just like, oh, you're new kids? Okay. And they're just like, there's paperwork for you can't just show up. I mean, you could, but you can't. Things are weird in the world. But I suppose there's enough kids to blend in if you were just kind of to go. I've had the instance where I've dropped my brother off at school and they thought I was one of the students. I'm like, can you check your records? Does there a student that looks like me? But if you're telling, like, this was someone at the gate, but if, like, you're telling the headmaster, oh, we're new students, and, like, he's like, oh, the documents must be somewhere, and it's just like, you don't, okay, I can see how loosey-goosey this school is. Cool. You let villains, like, kids with that, like, bully people, and, like, clearly they're, like, villain kids, like, go there and, like, torment kids. So, alright. There wasn't many classes. We started a dance number right when we entered class, and then class was over. Also, how did Red's hair end up red if Bridget's biological hair color was pink? And if they changed her, how is her hair still red? Wouldn't that make red, like, she would have had to have dyed it, or her hair should have been. I saw this theory on TikTok that her hair is naturally red and that she dyed it pink. She also has a thing with cards at that age. Okay, Queen of Hearts, it's fine. But yeah, and then some of the students, like, there's classes of, like, richer, not richer. The Cinderella's daughter is, like, classified as being, like, a princess and having everything handed to her, and Ella's like, that's not my life. Like, that's not everyone's life, And so that's her whole thing, and, like, she has to kind of get out of it. And why Ella, like, she taught her daughter good values, but I think, like, pushed that on her, like, you're a princess and everything. Like, after she came from that, like, I don't know if she was trying to kind of fix that. She can, like, understand things that are not, like, morally right to, like, her. And that's why she was always, like, telling me, like, you're evil, and I'm just like, girl, really? Like, this is not even remotely evil. This is just, like, the logical thing to do here, that we just have to just do it. Like, it's not right per se, but it's right in this instance. And that's what the whole song with Ella was. And that's another thing. Like, Ella lives off campus. Like, certain people live in dorms on campus, which I don't understand why they all don't just live on dorms. Their parents, a lot of them aren't reliable. But Merlin's all over the place, so I don't know. I don't know how they keep track of that. But yeah, Bridget has her own dorm. Who are her parents? I have no clue. And then Ella lives off campus with her mom and stepsisters. And then the VK gang, like, just live in a fish. Was it a fish? I think it was a fish. And they just go in there, and I'm like, they just go and they trespass. How, like, this world is all over the place. But I guess that's how the fairy tales come about. Like, you would think a school would be a little bit more maintained, but I guess not, and I guess that's kind of what leads to ultimately things happening. We have Hades and Maleficent. They were cute. Why Maleficent had that hairdo, like, it was cool, because my sister did something like that for Halloween once, and I thought it was really interesting, but the Maleficent later on did not have that, and the way that she looked compared to the Maleficent later on, it didn't seem like the same person. I guess she could change her look, but, like, it just didn't seem like the same person. Then we have Liana. Why they didn't have Ursula, I don't know. We had Morgie, who I loved, but who is he the son of? I was thinking, like, Medusa, and then, like, it's Morgana, and then he said Serpentine, so I thought, like, he meant, like, that was the last name, but I guess that's just kind of, like, he's a serpent kind of part, like, but I'm like, but who is your parent? Like, I don't know, and I think that's another conspiracy thing that's going around TikTok. I think they just wanted to have, like, a Medusa kind of thing, and they were just like, hey, let's figure out something. And then we have Hook, which, like, we already had a Hook-ish character last time. Like, we couldn't have given us someone else, but then, like, we had Hades and Malef. But, like, I think we needed to see younger then, because they were cute. Like, so, yeah. I fully think that it was Ella that played the prank on Bridget, or she had something to do with it. She wasn't there because she went with her prince, and that's what Bridget, Queen of Hearts, ends up telling her earlier. I mean, in the movie, but in the future. And so, but I think because she's able to open the book, but then if your intentions are wrong, could you open the book? But she hates her so much. And that's another thing. You open the book and you don't have the best intentions, or you're not good of heart, and you freeze. So how could the VKs have played a prank on, and I think it was supposed to be them, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, how would they have played a prank on Bridget? So I think like it was Ella or something to do with Ella because again Uma comes out later and she's like, "Oh, you thought that was the end?" So I'm like, "Okay, something happened. They messed up something like like dealing with time it comes with consequences." Um so I'm curious to see what they messed up. People are hoping that has something to do with like the Mal's like whole like impact and like storyline and everything. I don't think it does. I think that still happens, maybe a little bit differently. I don't know, but they changed time, and so I am intrigued to see what's happening in the next movie. But the movie felt very fast, and just that being the ending, like it didn't feel as complete as the second one did. When Uma said that the first time, so I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't like how it all just ended up like hooray, and they have like a dance party and like, oh, Queen of Hearts is good now, but then she was also like stuck in Wonderland still. You got to keep that in mind. And it's like Red's first time at the school. If this was the case, if she was good, like Red should have been going to school there already. Like I'm sorry, Disney, but we have to think things through. Like this would have happened already. And I don't know if she would have had memories of that or not. And also the Queen of Hearts is like, hearts. She made little heart bubbles, and I'm just like, what is happening? Like when she's like coming up and being like kind of sneaky, but instead it's like her like, oh, I just wanted to, I couldn't help myself. I wanted to just make little bubble hearts, and I'm so happy. And I'm just like, also, is it Rita Ortega? I think it's Rita Ortega. Wonderful, beautiful woman, can actually sing, and they did a horrible job giving her the most horrible songs for her voice. And I'm just like, she was rapping a lot. The rapping was actually better than the actual songs, I'll say that. But I was just like, girl, like they did you so wrong. And like a lot of them, their mouths are moving and it just wasn't like, I was just like, this is sad. This is very sad. I also think that another reason why I think that Ella was the one who played the prank, she didn't really seem like she liked Bridget very much. It was kind of, there was only that moment where she was like, hey, let's go together. And I think that was part of like the plot against her. I'm not sure. But Bridget is more like higher class. So again, I don't know who her parents are. And, she comes from Wonderland. And she's brand new. So she's like trying to make friends through the flamingo cupcakes. And then Uliana eats the feathers. And I'm like, I thought it was like, you're eating actual, it made me want to gag. I was like, I thought it was just kind of the essence in the cupcakes, and then apparently she can take the feathers back and put them on other cupcakes, because like the feathers are so rare, but she makes these a lot, so they don't actually eat the feather, or do they? I don't know what was with the feathers. She turned into a flamingo. She wanted revenge. But I don't think it was her who got the real revenge. Also, that song was good, but Jasmine and Aladdin were cringe. I also think that going back to kind of like Charming and Cinderella's daughter, like I remember Chad and how like uptight and like horrible he was. Not uptight, that's not the word. Like arrogant, that's the word. And I think that was like kind of that prestigeness of like, I think he did learn eventually, but like that prestigeness of like, I am a prince. And I think that is kind of what their daughter, the sister has, but not really. It's a little different. I think she is very kind-hearted. And I think that and her parents, like, they were very on her about raising her like that. So why did Chad end up so terrible? I don't know. So yeah, it was like very quick. It was like, we're here, we're there, we saved everybody, hooray. We weren't in the past very long, which is very sad. And I don't know if the parents remember her their daughters being there. Like, they probably don't. They're probably like, oh, these girls just disappeared. Also, Mad Hatter's son ended up being a very small character, but he made the watch. And like, if he's smart, like, doesn't he know that, like, you can't mess with the fabric of time? I think he did, and he gave the warning, but at the same time, it's like, bro, why'd you make it? But I think he really knew that she needed it. I don't know. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I am curious to see how the next one ends up. And like I said, I liked moments. I liked some songs, and I hated some songs, and I hated a lot of moments. And I hated how fast it went. Not a lot of moments. I hated some moments. But still, it was nothing compared to the originals. And I have my favorites. My favorite order of the originals. The order of that I like least to greatest is what I'm saying. But like, I still like them better. So yeah, that's my review. Thank you so much for watching. Out to soon. Bye. Forgot to say this. Also the looking glass. I know I have no makeup on and I'm in my PJs already, but it's supposed to show you like your future. And they were using it to see like into the future and see what was happening, but it was technically like what was going on in the present in their world, but it is the future, so that was also kind of confusing. Also, there's like the deleted scene of like Morgie stealing the book later. I think that like could lead to Ella like creating the prank, but again, if they're gonna freeze and she has bad intentions, I don't know. But maybe she can open the book. Like, there's just so many things to think. I think it was her. I really think it was her. She played some part in it. But I think Uliana also played some part of it later. But again, that scene was taken out, so I don't know. Alright, I'm done now.